What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are here on the last day of the last Qual before Swiss Stage, your last chance for your path to pro. I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run.
Welcome back, everyone, to the North America League Challenger Series. Finally, we're here, my friend. We have been through 3 long weeks of just grinding to find out who is it going to be. Who's the top 12 teams in I guess we'll call it T2 at this point, earning their spot to the Challenger Series Swiss stage. We've already found 8. We're on our way to the final 4 today. 8 teams left in the bracket. One of those big questions on everybody's mind: when to stop and play? The answer is next weekend. The question, though, is which team is it going to be playing? So we've got 8 teams left, my friend. The 4 quarterfinal games happening today, and here are those teams. We've got Tox's Rank Stack and Space Shubes. That match is happening over with High Bear over on his stream. Our game will be taking care of FlowState and Turtle Tactics, and big shout out to Mint for streaming all of their games, all of their scrims, sort of giving insight into the way the T2, T3 teams operate. I freaking love this team, the idea behind it, everything about it, and I'm glad we're getting a chance to cast them here in the quarterfinal game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the reasons we got into casting was we wanted to see that side of it. We wanted the comms, we wanted the call-outs, we wanted to see how those kind of practices go, and this time they're giving it a show for everybody, my friend.
That's right. The other 4 teams rounding out Burger & Co. We watched them beat Steins Gate yesterday here on our stream, plus Forsaken, one of the other teams stacked with some of the ex-pros, Hat and Gasher on that team, trying to make their way into the Challenger Series. And then Run It Back and TBI Inc. Very interesting sort of the setup. This is the last teams left available. Everyone else is qualified. Only 4 of these 8 are going to make it, though, and we'll quick pull that up because got this question: who makes it, how many make it? And we've shown this graphic many times, but just to clarify it again, 3 open qualifiers, 4 teams for 12. The Swiss Invite team, talked about that. That is Nightmare, the former SSG ACAD team, and then 3 from LATAM. Those quals still going on. The final game going to be happening on the R6 mainstream today to round out the 16-team Swiss. Then an 8-team double elimination playoff, and then 1 team is going to get that NAL affiliate spot.
Okay, let's take a look at those special teams that you were just talking about. Who's made it so far? Core, Akron, JJ & Co., Revelations, Karn & Co., Blackbeard Gaming, the Unks, and then the reason that we were all here in the first place, M80X, of course, has made it to that Swiss stage, and they will be playing next weekend here on the Siege Double Shot, your go-to for all of that stomping action.
So the big question is, who of these final teams are going to make it? The game we're going to be showing here, a best of 3 today between FlowState and Turtle Tactics. And on FlowState, names that you know and love for sure from the console scene, players that have been part of those roller series that we've been casting, even part of one of the roller primes that we were on. Center, Birch, Jabates, Zach, and Zim going to be on that FlowState side, and then taking on Turtle Tactics again, Trevmac, Zonky, Nick, Spider, and Dami. And behind the scenes, Mint from DZ fame guiding this team, and it is a very cool stack. This is a great game. I think one of the better of the qualification matches today.
Yeah, potential to see some go the distance type gameplay, right? But the first question we have to answer before we see that is, where in the world are we going? This is a best of 3, different from the previous best of 1s. There is not just a one and done over scenario. You get your chance in the map pick of your choice, and then of course potentially, if you needed a decider, today we're gonna see Consulate and Lair taken off the board, and Bank and
Damn
Nighthaven
it!
to go. Man, those were all the maps we watched yesterday outside of Lair. Which means our first 2 maps for today will be Clubhouse and Kafe, Skyscraper and Chalet to be the next 2 bands. And should fate deem it necessary, should we get a decider map, should we need it, Border will be that final decider.
Yeah, you said it. Interesting that all the maps we saw yesterday banned out at the beginning. We didn't see a Clubhouse, Cafe, or Border to start this thing off. So the fact that we're getting to see it today, fantastic, my friend. We're going to see at least the first two, and then if FlowState and Turtle Tactics can put up a fight against each other, it's all going to come down to Border. So those are the final three maps today. Only one of these two teams will make it into the qualifications here, the Swiss stage.
And a lot on the line, a lot riding right now. And you said it, it's still plenty of more Siege left to play after the winners of today are decided. I think you said something like 7 more best of 3s that you have to make it to reach that coveted spot.
That's if you play a perfect game. Through Swiss, you need to win at least 2 best of 1s and then a best of 3. And then you have to make it 4 games through in that double elimination bracket. That is if you play perfect. Any of those teams, though, could make a loser bracket run in either Swiss or that double elimination. So that's a minimum. After today, you need to win at least 7 more games. So there is a ton of Siege left to be played between these two. So, or between all of these teams. 16 teams, down to 8, down to 1.
Ooh, that's epic. That's epic. Yeah, down to 1, the last spot. Okay, so we're here, right? This is it. People are in the lobby. It's a best of 3 coming your way, and it's going to start us out on Clubhouse. Now, if you've ever played a match of Rainbow Six Siege, you have probably played it on Clubhouse. It is the default map with default strats. This is where not only good teams go to die, but bad teams go to thrive. So if you can stick to your basics, if you can have your gunpoint being on par, Clubhouse can go very well for you. Let's talk about the bans.
Yeah, that's right, my friend. Clubhouse, here it is. So, from an attacking standpoint, shields have got to be the focus for sure. We know that the shields are overpowered. And on the FlowState side, Center has been known to be an incredible shield player. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one of the other shields banned, and Turtle Tactics reads into that. Blackbeard and Blitz gone. That does leave Monty available. And we know that Monty very, very good on Clubhouse. So that's interesting to see how he's going to make or break these teams' approach to this map.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult because
wrong shield. He is so good at Monty that we'll see if Blitz is going to be a problem.
And well, it's not going to be a problem because he's off the board. He's banned. Monty is going to be the final pick if Sentier decides to get some shield. Oh, geez, shield play going. I have no idea what that noise just was on my mic. Followed up with the Valkyrie and the Cade. That's the kind of the pinch point, right? With the shields is there's 3 of them that are just so devastating. Which one do you get off the board? Do you take away the Blitz that will take away your sight and move quickly? Do you take away the Blackbeard that comes with an AR attached? Or do you get rid of the Monty, which can take space without any sort of danger because you can full shield, block the head, block the toes, move forward and take that space. So you got to pick your poison. And in this case, they left the Monty on the board. And that's kind of a tough one because that is in the hands of a good shield player, Whiskey. The Monty is the one that is going to be able to take so much space effectively. And that's really going to be good in the hands of Turtle Tactics.
Yeah, and at Center picking the wrong shield, I think, taking a jab at Turtle Tactics because I think the shield that he's the best on is probably the Monty. So when they made the choice between Monty and Blitz, pick the Blitz. That may work into the FlowState favor. So we'll see how this one plays out. And you said it, not having the Cade available is also going to change up the way that this game is played too. Makes opening the hatches a little bit easier, but you can see on the Turtle Tactics side, the reason maybe they wanted to ban the Blitz. Nix wants to start off on Monty as well and run it down to the basement.
That's right. And so it's going to take us down to the basement, but they are going to go all the way up to the 2nd floor for the first part of this hold. At least Legion was up there. He's getting out some goose. He's opening up the walls. And what does this do outside of just be difficult to manage is that you have to take them out. You have to invest some bodies. You have to invest your intel. You have to invest something that's very important, and that is time. even if he's not up there, he's done the job at stalling him out. You at least got to get somebody up there to make sure that you're not going to be mollywopped later on in the round on a flank.
All right, so we've got center playing upstairs on the east stairs, holding on to this red, watching for the main breach. Zach as well, holding that bedroom gym area to watch this push come in. So from a Turtle Tactics perspective, not really focusing, it looks like, on sort of a top-down clear. They seem to be taking a much more of a direct approach, which I think could work out really well for them. See, pushing this escape tunnel with the Monty, that's a tactic we've seen work very well. The question is whether or not this defense ready and waiting for it. They've got the Grim. There's the bees coming out.
And so they do. You can see all kinds of pings coming out. It's going to force them back off that stacks box. There's some fire that's coming down, and they're going to get
no
with it as Zonky goes down. Spider's able to take Zach off the board, sent you to find one, but damage has been done. It's a post-plant scenario.
What a quick plant.
Spider's already going to take Jabates off the board. It's going to be answered back as Spider goes down. Now into a 3v2. Nyx and Trevmac, the last two alive in this post-plant scenario. No Candelas, a couple of smokes, but no Candelas. So they're going to start pushing up with that shield play, just kind of block the door. Sentier's going to find one. Nyx is going to get taken down off the board, and that's going to be a defensive win as the C4 rings out to nobody.
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser.
Wow, read into and well played there from the FlowState perspective. They losing the man to the TK from the Goyo fire in the entrance to the escape tunnel. Really unfortunate loss there for Turtle Tactics. They did manage to gain some control. The direct approach down the dirt tunnel got the plant down, but then the post plant unfortunately falls apart for Turtle Tactics and FlowState. Even though they lost that initial plant, at the post plant they played perfectly. The players they had off site were in no danger from the Turtle Tactics attack. Fell apart from that perspective, but
attackers need to locate and defuse as
it's
many
round
bombs
one
as they can.
of the best of three. Plenty of time left for Siege between these two teams. Early opening though for FlowState.
You know, here's the big part of it with Clubhouse. There's 3 sites that you will see, and there's one that you won't. But according to my sources, according to my sources, somebody who knows very well, our stage could become a thing. It could become a thing. Now, whether is that going to happen today? No, probably not going to happen today. But because of the default nature of all of these maps, finding your turf site has become somewhat difficult. And so we are going to see basement first. Gym bedroom is going to be second, and most likely we're going to see cast CCTV, but we might see a bit of a switch up and getting some more of that bar stage action in. I'd be here for it.
If this coveted source is yourself, I would believe it. But
it's not Shark Jesus either.
All right, we're gonna see how it goes, my friend. But it's gonna be bar stage here. No, just kidding. Gym bedroom here to start it off on the second floor. The drones are in. The intel is in here for this Turtle Tactics team. Which the player that I like here that they picked out, the interesting one, both the Deimos and the Callie. We don't see Callie played very often. The gym bedroom is one of the sites where I think she's got a little bit of utility and could come in handy. Taking long shots at those windows. Gonna work on opening up the main breach here, but Callie holding the long angle there. I like that strategy.
Yeah, you see it a lot, especially if there's a castle on the board. Callie's great at getting them those castle barricades gone. And then afterward, holding on to that devastating cross from the highway. People that are rotating in from construction, from Logi, from cash, are going to find that their life is forfeit with that long-range devastation. So, C4 rings out towards that cash CCTV breach. Not going to find anything, but they're close with a shotgun in hand. Sentier is going to find first onto Dami, as they're going to send in some smokes and some... Oh, but it just was not timed correctly. Unfortunately, Zonky goes down, which does put us into a 5v3. They're now chasing him down, and that's going to be a C4 to take one off the board. Trevmac able to answer back, but folks, the damage has been done. It's now into a 4v1. Callie the last alive, stuck in a Fenrir gadget, so they know exactly where he's at. He's going to make that final push up, but he's got 3 to 4 contenders to deal with just towards that red stair. Sentier with shotgun to finish it off.
Was that a 4K or 3K from him? Unbelievable play with the mute at the top. Combination of SMG and shotgun completely shutting down that Turtle Tactics attack. They got stopped completely at the Cache CC side. Really no pressure over on the Jacuzzi side. All of that action happening very close to the Cache breach or the CC breach and just shut down. Really, it's feeling like Turtle Tactics getting a little bit of the footing under them. A little bit of a rough start for this team. FlowState showing up. Now it is defense on Clubhouse. Defensive sided map. Not surprising to see this team start out this well. Now, the thing about it though, Clubhouse is Turtle Tactics map pick. So I was personally expecting them to come out really strong here to start off with. But it's a little bit slower. We'll see how that plays out over the long run though. It is a best of 3.
Yeah, I guess that's the big selling point, right? Is that it is a best of 3. Even if it takes a little bit longer for you to get warmed up, you still have a couple maps and you can get going after that. So, we do see a takeover to the Cache CCTV side. For the Turf side, no bar stage to be had, but with a full extension upstairs and downstairs.
5 seconds remaining.
They made a mirror onto that hot tub window, which is just going to put a ton of pressure on, and you have to find a way to deal with that mirror. And then to go underneath where the castle barricades are going to lock in that swamp area and make that push-up garage really difficult, which is normally where we would see, you know, a shield being played here. That's probably what Sentier do when they're on their defensive side of it. But for Turtle Tactics, not going to be the case. A little bit more of a standard approach. They're bringing out the OSA as well.
It really feels like it's one of the things we talked about, why the reason we love this Turtle Tactics team is they're trying things, showing the way that they're playing the game in all of these, the scrims on Mint streams. I love that. They're picking some interesting operators, though. The combination of the Kali, now the OSA as well, it's not, I wouldn't, again, OSA is one of those operators we talk about not being probably the favorite, but there's a couple places that she plays well. This Cache CC is one of those sites. Hold on to that outside, hold on to that breach, rather than just playing off the rappel. Makes it a little bit easier, but also easier for the defense to try and take some shots at OSA because she's very visible where she's at rather than just a head peeking out over the rappel.
That's right. Okay, so 5 alive as the first minute is gone. They did get that breach opened up, and they've got the pressure being put onto this catwalk player, waiting for them to peek the wrong direction of this Kiba barrier, and there it goes.
Oh, what a miss!
Down, but a miss! There it is. Second one's going to happen, but they've got a second Kiba barrier up and ready, which means they're going to stay locked in. Oh! Jabates is going to take Nyx off the boards. They do a quick cross over to that main breach, trying to take some damage onto OSA. Man, he's just going to stay secured up there. They didn't get the Kibas down. They didn't chase him out of it, and they wasted the one utility that they had to try to make that fire push them out of there. Still's good. He's solid.
Yeah, Jabate's going to hold on to this power position, and now as long as he can stay behind the reinforcement there, well protected from even the rappel or the pressure from the outside. But Zalki coming in like crazy. Grabs one, Jabates finishes off Dami though, and right now, Turtle Tactics falling apart a little bit at this point. Trevmac and Spiders still the last 2 left alive. Playing over on this garage side, gonna make the push in, but this feels like a very dangerous scenario with Jabates still well in hand up in the rafters.
That's right, and they've got a couple of nades to try to suss out some of these players, trying to force them out of some of those critical push point positions, and they are going to take Jabates off the board, which is going to get one closer to equalizing here on the numbers. But they're in a tough spot, Whiskey. They're in a tough spot. They do find that garage presence as they're able to get back or claim some of that real estate towards the top, being part of that standing on the table defense. It can have you shooting. Oh no, and he's in the smoke. He's gonna have to rotate yet again. Puts a oh man, Trebek's able to find it. A pistol pop from Spiders, now gonna take us into a 2v1, and what was started out as such an incredible incredible move for the defense just absolutely falls apart when they push in. They weren't ready for the last part of the round.
I thought for sure that the smoke having, right, he tosses one at the entrance to garage, stymies that push in, prevents the player from making the push up the garage stairs, and then the second right on the default plant spot, well timed, perfectly placed, prevents that, but then to lose the pistol battle around the corner and then in a 2v1 scenario, holding the top of red stairs. Turtle Tactics comes up big at the end. Even though they lost the utility early, seemed like they couldn't push
Attackers need
the
to locate and defuse
Jabates
as
out of the
many
top
bombs
of
as they can.
rafters. They didn't shut down the mental at all. Came back huge and won that in a man down scenario. So Turtle Tactics here to win. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome everyone. This is the qualification game for one of the final spots for the Challenger Series Swiss stage. Bracket command in there if you want to take a look at who has already qualified, top 8 as well, to see who are the teams that these 4 teams can be fighting for. M80 already in that list. They're ready. It's time. And thank you, Kason, for the raid. Welcome everyone joining us.
Appreciate the raid, Kason. You absolutely go.
Locate a bomb and
Extremely well today. For those of us who are just joining us, welcome. We're in the Blast R6 Challenger Series. We're looking to see who's gonna face Stompin' coming up next weekend in that Swiss stage. They're fighting it out. The last 4 spots available right now. All right, Whiskey. First couple of 30 seconds is gone. We're back down to the basement. The round rotate is over. So Turtle Tactics has now got a good look at what FlowState is bringing to the table, and they were able to find one. They do that on the same round rotate. They're going to find themselves in that standard spot for the split going into their defensive path.
This console stack here over at FlowState, we see them in the Roller Prime, the Roller Sunday series all the time here. Had a chance to cast them now in the official T2 series, trying to find a spot in Challenger League next to M80. Only one of these 2 teams can win, though. This is the best of 3 quarterfinal qualification game between these 2. Only one will make it. Now, as we're working through, this is map 1, Clubhouse, Turtle Tactics map pick. And right now, they've been struggling to get anything going on attack, my friend.
Yeah, well, a little bit of a run out is going to make it a little more difficult as Nyx is now put onto that 0-4 situation. Nyx and Donnie not really able to buy themselves a kill inside of 4 rounds at the moment. So they do lose the main advantage, heads into the hands of FlowState. That defense is really just starting to kind of lock it in. Their impact trick in that hat, so verticality going to still be difficult. There's enough of those X-Kairos on the board to be able to get the job done, though. This is only 1 more impact and 2 more C4s, and they're doing it from the relative safety of the Aussie Repel outside.
That's right, working this last 57 seconds. Ton of the vertical going on. Zonky in play, looking for this hatch drop. You can still hear that opening up slowly, though. I don't have all of the assets in place, and still all 5 stacked up downstairs, bunkered in the basement, ready for this execute.
He saw him, right? The tip of his shoulder on that Mira is making it just a little bit difficult. They're going to have to open up that Aruni gate on the hatch so a drone can actually get in. But does the drone get smashed? It gets shot before it can get down and recover some of that information. So they're going to have to open it up with a shotgun and hope to catch somebody rotating here. Flash goes down. Fire's gonna stop this final bit of push. 16 seconds to be able to drop down this hatch. We are a 5v4. This is about to be an absolute bloodbath. The C4 goes out. Sentier's able to find Zonky off the board, who will remain. Oh,
no way! No way!
Qual has caught the round, including an Aruni gate kill finish the final round. Oh, man, round 5 up next, and it's just been a FlowState show at the moment.
Yeah, they are crushing it on defense right now, and what a utility play coming out from these guys. We've seen the Goyo canister kill. We've seen the Aruni gate kill on top of really Turtle Tactics seeming to struggle to clear out all the defensive utility. They're bringing along the right operators, but just not getting the usefulness that they need to. Struggling to get anything going. We talked about it. Defensive map for sure, Clubhouse. They did win, right? Turtle Tactics did win the tertiary site. It still feels a little bit early to be taking the timeout. That to me says that they're very confident on defense going into their half, and they're trying to build up more than that standard 2-round win here on attack.
Okay, a little bit of a timeout. Take a second to talk about it and say, hey, that didn't quite go according to plans. We'll try it again. FlowState going to take it back up to the gym bedroom area as they're going to finish off their round rotate, at least the second edition, and a lot of same faces that you saw in the beginning. They're going to be taking away that intel with the mute. They're making sure that those walls stay closed for as long as possible. Specifically, those mirror walls. That's the big one that they're trying to keep up. Right, that's that big layer that's going to not allow you to push in through that hot tub area.
All right, my friend, here it is. Bringing out this combo of really what the gym bedroom, this trio of ops, the bandit, the castle, and the mirror, really an unstoppable combo there for the gym bedroom defense. Adding in a mute and a warden on top. Turtle Tactics was trying to use, I felt pretty heavy on the smoke and flash utility. Blitz obviously not available. We saw the use of the smokes. We've seen them use Ying. FlowState ready to counter that with the warden in place. So I think they picked all of the right operators in this case. Turtle Tactics, very similar setup from the attack, bringing out the Deimos and the Kafe here. Again, we talked about Gym Bedroom, one of those few places she's very good, as well as a counter to the castle. Now, the big change-up, when we saw this back on round 2, all of the action happening in the Cache CC side. Breach Red Stair was where everything happened. Very little action happening over on the main side of the map. So we'll see if Turtle Tactics changes up this strat at all.
Yeah, I imagine it's got to change it up a tad. You still have to do the basics, right? You still have to check those Yali boxes. And what does that mean? That means open up every breach. That starts with the Cache CCTV. You move on to that construction breach. You get the hatch opened up into Logi, and then you open up Hot Tub. So that way, you can have effectively a rope that is just going to tighten and condense these defenders down into a smaller and smaller area until the Cali, who's sitting onto that highway, is going to be able to pick them off on the rotate. But the thing is, she's got to stay alive long enough for that, and there's already somebody there to play spoiler, as Castle is going to hold a cheeky little angle to try to get this Cali off the board before there can be any damage done.
Minute 40 left, holding on to this con side, looking to see if anyone's out on highway, but got to be careful with that Cali watching the long angle. Spider finally going to get this, get the thermite charge open, holding on to that, I was going to say, all of those positions right up against the castles. Nearly impossible at this case. Now, there it is. You hear the Cali charge come out, opening up the windows this time. Seems like Turtle Tactics doing a little bit better job clearing out the defensive utility with enough time to act on it.
Yeah, that's a tough place to find yourself if you're FlowState, right? This should be a site that you're holding just a little bit better, but they lose 2 out the gate, which is going to put the body balance into the hands of Turtle Tactics now. So they're starting to make that push in. Bates is going to take a little bit of damage. Survives to tell the tale, and now it's a Deimos off as he's getting pinged out on the highway windows. They know that he's in the bathroom. They know that they've got his exact ping, and now it's going to be Deimos going under to try to put some of that vertical pressure onto this bathroom player.
34 seconds left, my friend, taking a shot center up through the floor. Quickly answered back, though. It's a 2v3. Not a lot of time left here for these attackers. They've got to get something going right now and still have to deal with the bathroom and Logi.
Yep, instead, they're going to just start getting the plant down. The cross is held up. The mirrors are effectively dealt with, and that's going to put us into a post-plant scenario. 3v2, 3v1 as Bates goes down. You know what? Make it a 3v none as Domi's going to get on the board.
Right, the newest members of this Turtle Tactics team is Zonky and Dami coming over to the Outlast roster, showing up in a big way here at the end of round 5. We said they were looking to win 2. They pull off what we call the timeout buff here on the Siege double shot, winning the round immediately after taking the timeout. Coming in big, so now, not going to go to that tertiary site again. They're going to replay Gym Bedroom and center back on Clash. There was a question early on, was he going to crutch on Shields? I don't know if it's a crutch if you keep winning. We'll see whether or not Clash is the change that this team needed. It's a big change up in lineup here for the same site.
That's true. Well, clutch or crutch, we'll find out. He's definitely a shield player, however it mounts. So Clash is going to be the one. We'll see if they take some of those tactics where you kind of hide the Clash. You put them into a corner, and then kill all the drones before they get there. That way there's not necessarily that info. You don't maybe bring along the right operators. No Nomad, no Thick Lock on the board. to stop it, but not going to be the case. Sentier is going to be open and bold about being the shield user, and for that, Trev Mack is going to bring out the gridlock. They're going to have a way to try to
10
shut
seconds remaining.
this shield player down.
The observer reading our minds, even though per blast standards here for Challenger Series, it's a couple minutes ahead of us. Interested to see how Clash was handling. Where is she going to be playing? Top or red at this point? We said tons of action obviously happening there. This time, previous round though, Turtle Tactics gaining control of the gym bedroom side, shutting it down, getting the plant, holding the crosses. They didn't bring. I was going to say they didn't bring out the greatest. Still running the Cali
in my life, bro.
Yep, not a bad plan, especially when you've got those castles to deal with. Especially when you've got potentially mirrors to deal with. They didn't bring it in this case, right? So, a little bit of an interesting Sens gadget. As it's a potential, you can turn these on and off now, folks. Right? So that's exactly what you just saw.
I love that change.
And then he turned it off, and that can provide some late round chaos ensuing, right? You set them up in advance, and then all at once you can click it. All of them come up, and then it is just where in the heck does it even come from? So plant's going down. Amaru gets up onto the hatch.
No
They
way.
didn't even activate the Sens gadgets. Shots onto the highway window is gonna find that first kill, but they've got it kind of locked down now, except for. He's just going to push up and find two, and it's just falling apart for Turtle Tactics currently. Clash is using that shield. They're stuck into the bathroom. The Logi is going to find themselves in a tough spot now into the bathroom. It's going to be a flawless round. Oh, man, what a freaking play.
Turtle Tactics did manage to find their 2-on attack. That one, for me, really fell apart. Again, we're seeing them try what amounts to some quick executes, some interesting strategies, not sort of the standard takes, which I freaking love that about this game, that there's so many different ways to play the strategic, tactical side of Siege. The Amaru up through the hatch, right? They're getting the plant down. The problem is not clearing out enough space, losing some of these 1v1s, and right now, when FlowState is hitting it, I mean, literally living up to the namesake, right? Coming up with 2 flawless rounds there. If they can't win, when they do win, they're coming up huge.
So a standard split is where we find ourselves as we switch gears. The op swap now in place, which means we're going to see Turtle Tactics and their defensive start. They're going to take it down to basement, and they're going to bring some familiar operators. Right? We've kind of seen some of these. This castle can be utilized anywhere. And instead of opening up that main breach there, or that main hatch going back down, because there's an obvious extension going on here with castle, then instead of opening it up, they're going to instead find themselves on the blue hatch opened up. Still going to put some play towards this vertical, but not necessarily in the way that we were thinking.
And like we said, love seeing what this team's putting together here from a defensive perspective, changing up some of these strategies. Center's not going to play the shield here to start this off, going to run a Habana on support, doubling up the hard breach along with Jabate. So they've got the vertical piece covered. You want to make sure they get all of these hatches open. The fact that Cade's not available should be no problem here. The thing they're going to have to deal with, you said it, Dami holding this this upstairs extension. Was about to get in one of those engagements, but also happening over here on the warehouse side.
It's a full extension here. I mean, we've got extension up onto the first floor and a roam game onto the second, and could even be called an extension on the second as well, because it's a zombie, right? Zonky can really just lock in up top here and just force the gunfights. Now, they've opened up the main breach. They're just going to start pushing in towards Logi. Default cams getting taken down, which means the pressure going to start to mount here for Zonky. He's all the way in the garage with Nyx, and who sits in CCTV. So there's actually 2 members up top, and what you'll see is they'll put the pressure on for probably another 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then start to rotate themselves back down for a full bunker strat. And actually, they did it a little bit early. You can see right now, all 5 members of the defense have really just stalled out the time, and now put the pressure on for the attack side to try to get down into the basement with only a minute and 22 left.
It's one of the things we talked about on the Turtle Tactics side of the attack was maybe taking a little bit too long, clearing, getting everything in place. FlowState sort of suffering from that as well. You take a look at where all those blue outlines, either outside first floor, no real pressure downstairs on the basement, but that we know how the basement plays out in Clubhouse. Quick attack. The drop is coming. Get ready. They're stacking up over on the blue side. You can see the next hatch opening up. They've got a little bit of moto control. Looking down in church, my friend. 50 seconds left. Still a little fire they got to deal with, but all 10 left alive.
Man, this is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Now Church Wall gets opened up as the summon charges go out, but it's in a prone, pwned, and potentially owned position here. Spider looking to play spoiler. As he sits waiting for that push up. Ram going to be the first to go down, and Zonky's going to find the kill. Sentier answers back on Spider. Debates to find one onto Dami. Zonky answers onto Sentier. Still equalized. Now it's going to be Zonky on the triple kill, on pace for the ace as they make the
what?
Drop down. Zonky on the quad kill. Now it's going to be into an old-fashioned 1v1. Zonky needing to get this last kill for not only the ace, but to clutch the round for his team. It's 8 seconds left. The plant is starting to go down. He takes it to half. He's going to make sure that they're forcing this plant now to rotate around. They're looking towards the breach. Here's going to be that final bit of play. It's going to be a quick peek off. 37 seconds on the board. Finds the first couple of shots off the chassis. Starts to pretend for the rotate around. Instead, they're looking towards the back end. He's going to
no way!
The ace going to come up huge for his team. Newest addition says, hey, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Here's an ace on me.
Bomb defusing attempt failed. Defenders win.
Yo, what happened there? Ooh, Zonky going absolutely insane.
Yeah, Zonky just takes it. He goes out, he finds the biggest person in there, he punches him straight in the face, and then proceeds to do it to the rest of the team. 4-3, we're one away from tying this series up.
Oh, man, my friend. What a round. That is absolutely wild. I know there's a lot of questions coming out in the chat. Who's playing when? You know, when is M80 playing? They have already qualified, one of the 8 teams that had already made it into the Challenger Series. They're one of the 12 teams that qualify here. The last 4, we're waiting to see who is it going to be. This is one of the 4 qualification games happening today. There are currently 8 teams. Only 4 can make it though. So the winners of these best of 3s will join M80X in the Challenger Series Swiss stage next weekend. So that'll be right back here on the Siege Double Shot. Right now we've got FlowState, one of these teams that we do see in the Roller Sunday series, taking on Turtle Tactics. Nyx and Mint's squad fighting, and right now, we said it, Nyx struggling a little bit, playing the shield, struggling to get anything going, sitting at 0-7 in huge contrast to Center, sitting at 10-3.
Yeah, when we said clutch or crutch, he hasn't even used the shield but one time, and it's just being an absolute menace here on Clubhouse. So in this time, it's going to pick some support. They're going to double up on the hard breach, which is the accepted strat here when you're going for that gym bedroom take. It's what we talked about earlier. You get everything open, and then you tighten down your space until you are just picking people back off the rotate here. Yeah, tough place to find yourself. Nyx put relegated to the clash play as they have yet to buy themselves a kill inside of 8 rounds. Tough.
Cool. Hey, at this point, you don't want to be talking about buying kills when you're talking about qualifying for Challenger Series. He's got to be playing a little bit more active than this. But, I mean, holding on, running the team, they're only 1 round away. So even though struggling to get anything going, supported by the team, for sure off the back of that ace there, just making something happen here to start off their defensive side. So FlowState, you can hear them running around on the roof, gaining a little bit of this control over on the Cash CC side, getting ready to make the push over. They've got to deal with the Nyx and that clash, though, to start off with.
Yep, and still sitting 5-all as more than half the round is gone. They have taken some of that space, but they still got to find a way to deal with Nyx sitting in construction, who's just going to be an absolute menace. They don't have that flank. They don't have that movement operator. They don't even have any grenades to try to flush them out of this spot. Now, he does move into the bedroom, and they're waiting behind for that kill. Potentially, Ash might start to have one, but instead, it's just going to try to open some stuff up, and that's going to be Clash back to the construction as they're getting the Logi wall opened up as well. First kill is going to go down. Jabate's going to find it onto Zonkies. The body shots ring out. Now pushing to construction as they've taken that space, put themselves into a 5-3 situation. Dami goes down. Now it's a tough position to find yourself. Now, they do still have the Clash on the board. If they can continue to hold this out, which they can't because the plant is now
going down?
It's going down. Yeah, they are all the way on the backside of trouble, and it is going to remain killless on the Clash. 0-8, and they are just starting to really make this a difficult game, at least for map number 1.
That is the third flawless round that we've seen FlowState put together in just this map. They did it on 4, 6, and 8. Some Siege poetry coming out here with the round counts that they've managed flawless rounds. But man, when Turtle Tactics finding ways to win rounds, but when FlowState hits, they're just doing it different. Flawless rounds on defense, flawless rounds on attack. This is a dangerous team right now, and the fact that we're getting to see best of 3 between these two, man, we're lucky today. The problem is only one of these two teams is going to qualify to Challenger Series and potentially face M80 in that Swiss stage. Who is it going to be right now? And Nyx just still struggling. And right now, maybe Spider struggling. Looks like he's doing the crab walk right now, holding on. Now, there it goes. Man, I thought we were going to lose a player.
He was moonwalking, man. He did it for the stream. A little bit of pizzazz as he sets up sight. I like it. I'm going to be honest with you. It shows style and grace, and it's very demure with it. Man, thank you so much for all of the subs. It's just been a blast to be here casting with you today. We are 131 players, or I mean followers away from 5,000 followers here on Twitch. Just want to say thank you so much for that. And when we do hit 5,000, that is when we are going to give away that signed headset that is signed by all of the talent at the Boston 6 Invitational, including Fresh on the Desk, well, everybody that was there, Pangu, Fox, I mean, they're all on there. So this is a really cool headset. When we hit 5,000, 131 more followers, we will be picking the winner. Thank you guys so much for all the subs. We really appreciate you.
Ooh, 2 minutes, 14 seconds. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of action happening off stream in the channel and in the chat and on stream. Because again, FlowState fighting for their spot. Turtle Tactics trying to find a way. This is Turtle Tactics map pick. They need to win here on Clubhouse before going to Kafe. The problem is, man, just struggling to deal with the utility right now. And no way, what a jump out from Zonky. Is he going to go for the C4 as well? Somebody clip that.
Yeah, finds a kill, gets a knife, and then sets themselves up for a potential third kill. Zach's down 4v2, really. Trying to bait him out with that C4, but not going to be the case. They're going to be able to get Zach back up, and the damage has been done, but they're only down by 1. Right, so it's a 4-3 scenario, minute and 21 left on the board, and oh no, did that say somebody's stuck on the rappel? Oh, he was stuck on the rappel. That's probably.
We do see that occasionally. It looked like we had one frozen, but Zach Killa gonna take down Trev, turn this into a 3v3 with a minute left. It is close, my friend. They've got the setup outside on the balcony. They're ready. There's the push in, getting right at the util dump.
That's right. Flashes start to ring out, takes a look towards that catwalk, and instead going to deem themselves needing a second look to get in and make sure that they know exactly where the defenders are. A couple of sound cues over on the highway window as they're making that push up. Still got to deal with this Mira that is holding on to that that's holding on to that construction area. Time's starting to tick down now. 25 on the board, and you are still outside. Well, only one of them is, right? We've made our way into garage. We've made our way into the lounge, and now sending some flash. Here's about to be that pinch. The top of red going to be dangerous. Zach's going to find one. Sentier going to find the other. Looking towards construction, a pre-fire. Sentier going to be good for a double.
No way.
Bring that back somehow. And now they find themselves on a match point scenario.
Match point. And this is the first match point here for the day between FlowState and Turtle Tactics. It's a best of 3. This isn't the decider yet. It's not the final map yet. Plenty of opportunity here for either of these teams to come back. But right now, on their map pick on Clubhouse, Turtle Tactics has to be perfect for 3 to force OT.
Okay, perfect for 3. We've seen plenty of these teams do it. Right, especially this team, these players that any one of them can pop off, the caliber being very high for everybody. We're going to see it down into the basement. Turtle Tactics is going to try a little bit of that church arsenal hold, and they're going to lean into the area denial to get it done, both the smoke and the goil. Now, here's the question. Are they going to be so spread out as they were last time? They didn't get back down to sight for a full bunker strat at like until 1:40 left on the board. So really did a fantastic job of stalling these guys out and really torching the time. But here's the big thing. The Turtle Tactics, you've got to see Nix get active. He's 0-9 currently, and that can be a mental chalker no matter how good or average of a player that you are. It will be a chalker. It makes you think, hey, man, I can't get it done against these guys, can't find the kill. You just need to get that first one on the board, and then it starts to be a little bit easier to get back into that traditional state.
And 2 minutes, 35 seconds left. That opening pick coming from the Turtle Tactics side. We said they had to be perfect for 3, taking down the Grim. Important piece of this intel taking place upstairs. All 5 of the defense still left alive, and Jabate's upstairs with the ace, looking, trying to find. They're opening up this sight line. Zach Killer was already in, though, pushing down the stairs, gaining some of this vertical control. All of this defense is bunkered back down very early, basically with 40 seconds left. Everybody down except for the fight taking place on the stairs and Dami on the losing end of that one.
That's right. Nix does finally get on the board. 1-9 as they were able to find one of those attackers. A couple of shots from the top, vertical to be had, but it is going to be a zombie who stays alive during that exchange. A little bit lower health, a little worse for the wear, but alive nonetheless.
Now we're sitting 4 stacked apiece, a total of only 1 kill on either side. Half this round gone. See, Spider playing deep in the dirt tunnel, waiting to see whether or not any of those FlowState attackers are going to make that push down. They're basically focused over on the bar side, though, continuing this vertical control, opening up all of these hatches, making sure that they've got every avenue available for them to make the push in. Zach going to use up. Oh yeah, there he goes. Finally using that last open, and there was the hatch trap. 3 down Moto.
Okay, now starting to get some flashes as they're pushing in, taking that shot from the long angle, but the cross is set up, which means start putting some pressure here onto this mirror. They did get the late round barricade up, so not going to be able to just push in through that main breach area. The 2 barrels are going off. It's slowing them down, and 45 seconds left. No pressure from the other side. It is going to see Nix getting taken off the board, so main advantage back into the hands of FlowState as they find themselves in a 4-3. 36 as it counts down. A zombie going to find their life forfeit, and that's going to be a double that rings out. Zach is going to take Trevmac off the board, now into a 3v1. Spider, the last alive on a match point scenario, going to find one towards along. No, Jabate's going to take him down. Map 1 is in the bag. FlowState living up to their namesake as they flow right on through this first map. Turtle Tactics gonna need to head back to the drawing board for map number 2.
Center comes up huge as the MVP and played well the entire map. Really a little bit of struggle on the Turtle Tactics side. Plenty of time to regroup now, though. In between maps, that is map 2 coming your way. Kafe is the place that we are going to do battle next. It is FlowState's map pick. It is a best of 3 between these two to decide who is going to the Swiss stage to take on M80 next weekend. Boy, I thought maybe on Clubhouse, on Turtle Tactics map pick, we would see them really dominated, but FlowState seemed to have an answer and a flawless round for almost everything that they tried.
Yep. Now it's a tough place to find yourself in the best of 3, the final chance for your path to pro. And now you gotta get it done on your opponent's map pick, or it's over and done. We're gonna find out when we come back, folks. You know the deal, you know the drill. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're gonna bring you a second map. Heyo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Well, the lobby taking just a little bit longer to get started than we would have hoped for. So, instead, we're going to bring you High Bear's stream that we're going to watch party with you as we figure out if Space Shoobs is taking on or going to win against, who is that? Well, I can't quite see the other team.
It's this is Tox's ranked stack. Tox's ranked stack
okay.
is
There you
the
go.
is the team there. So whether or not they're gonna win, great question, my friend. But so yeah, this game's going on High Bear stream and Alias's stream currently as well. Both of them watch partying this. So Spaceships didn't win the first map. Let's see. I had the score up a second ago. 7-4 on the first map. So right now, Spacetube's looking very good to pick up that first qualification in potentially 2. And Spacetube's good friends of ours. Glad that they've made it this far, looking for their qualification spot. There's a couple more.
Shoot.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yep.
And we have a couple of teams that have qualified or have made it into the bracket. So, the LATAM teams, right? When we've looked at the path to pro here for the Swiss stage, there are 3 LATAM teams that come in as a part of the LATAM qualifier to round out the NAL Swiss stage. One of those teams is already in. It's Los Retirados, the retired guys, the old guys, an old MXPL stack. We cast them during the week 1 of the LATAM qualifiers. They did not win the LATAM NAL spot. Obviously, they're one of the top 3 teams that's going to make it. So they're in the bracket already, starting off at the bottom. We did include in the bracket command the link to the Liquipedia Swiss stage, so that way you can see where they're at. M80X is currently listed in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th position, but I think
Counting count as live math?
yeah,
It's dangerous.
yeah, I know, dangerous live math there, but since it's a Swiss stage, the seeding isn't really that important. The individual place, it's going to be randomized as they walk into it. So, yeah, Space Shoobs taking on Tox's Ranky stack right now, and Space Shoobs, after winning map 1, look very good coming into this.
Yeah, absolutely. 3-0 on the start with a map win already. I'm a Shoobs fan, right? We try not to have any bias, but man, when you're a team that's been around, that you've cast quite a few times, you start to develop that rapport. Not to mention, they got a badass logo.
You know, and also we were watching yesterday on Burger and Co. with Swifted. Terror is his teammate as well. They ended up on different teams here, so Terror playing on Tox's rank stack here. See whether or not both of them can make it. Burger and Co. is playing off stream. I don't think anybody is covering that particular map right now, so we're not sure where that one's at. But yeah, still waiting. Just a couple minutes left until our game gets going, and it's gonna be Kafe.
Oh man, Kafe. Kind of love-hate with Kafe. Oh, no way. The C4 grenade exchange goes into the hands of the grenade. That's tough. Yeah, love-hate relationship with Kafe, right? I mean, it's got kind of a soft side up on the 3rd floor. It's lots of rappel action. It can be tough to get in the building, similar to, say, Skyscraper. So
Yep.
when I see Skyscraper going down, I always got my fingers crossed that Kafe is going to be a next follow. Only because, like, once we saw Oregon leave the map pool, Clubhouse and Kafe kind of took over as those normal, those standards, those go-tos, those defaults, the ones you feel comfortable with. So in that case, we saw Kafe really a lot, and seeing Kafe really a lot had us realize that it's not a great map. Unless you're a defender. It's great if you're an attacker on third floor, but outside of that, it's very defender sided,
Yep.
and can make it very tough to get into. So we'll see how that plays out today. I mean, when you get up into the caliber of players that we're casting currently, things can be a lot different. It's not just that it's a defender sided map. It then becomes that. I mean, it's gun skill at that point.
Yep.
Gun skill, communication, your tactics.
Well, it looks like the Shub side going to, unfortunately, their game going to rehost at 4-0 for frames. Frames issues. We talked about this over and over, the frames being a problem. So, hi Bear. We appreciate you rating us yesterday, and we're so close here. Oh wait, message in. Still waiting on one in our lobby. Again, we're waiting on our best of 3. We've got one more map to go, potentially. Maybe 2 if Turtle Tactics can come up with it. So big shout out to Mint and Nix for running Turtle Tactics. Like we said, such a cool concept there.
Yeah, absolutely. And handsome guy, Hi Bear. Oh, let's go. We got to meet him at the Invitational. He's actually incredibly tall.
Yeah, tall guy and super nice.
True. Both accounts.
So I was looking.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was taking a look at the rest of the where all the other matches are going. We're sitting Space Tubes 1-1. We talked about FlowState 1 map in ours. Burger & Co. and Forsaken, still no update on who won their first map. But on the other side, Run It Back has won map 1 on theirs. So we've got at least the leaders now in most of these teams. And again, out of the 8 teams that are playing today, only 4 will qualify. So we're about ready. We could probably send it to a break, come back in just a minute for our map 2. It is almost time, my friend.
All right, you guys know the deal. When we come back, we're bringing you a second map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are back with map number 2. It is all on the line if you are Turtle Tactics fan, and if you're FlowState, you're thinking one more map. That's where we currently sit. The path to pro, the gateway to greatness. It all starts here with this last one. Whiskey, what you think?
You said it. It's the last opportunity. We're on Qual number 3 in the quarterfinal. It is down to this. No more opportunities to try and qualify here. This is it, my friend. If you want to make it in a Challenger Series, it is a must-win scenario. Turtle Tactics, all the pressure on this team now because FlowState has already picked up map 1. If they want to see map 3, if they want to have a chance, they're going to have to win here on Kafe. Now, we had High Bear stream up for a moment. We talked about some of the teams that had already won. Like we said, Space Tubes already picked up map 1 and looking very good for map 2. They're in that qualification spot. Our game, we're going to see FlowState Turtle Tactics take on the second map. Burger & Co. and Forsaken. We know Burger & Co. has already won the first game. 8-7 victory, double overtime for them to take down Forsaken. Very close. That one is going to be a barn burner. And then down at the bottom, Run It Back has taken 1 map over at TBI. So, that's where we're at, my friend. It is just about time to get into it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. We're close. I want to go ahead and we'll pull up this path to pro. I know we've been talking about it so often. How many teams are left? So, we're in this qualifier number 3. 4 teams. Nightmare as the invite, and we found out one of the LATAM teams already, Los Retirados, the retired guys, picking up one of those 3 spots. The other 2 decided today on the mainstream on R6 is where those LATAM qualifiers are happening. The winner gets an NAL spot. The losing 2 teams are going to join the retired guys here in the Swiss bracket for the NAL Challenger Series.
Okay. The path is set. Let's get into it, Whiskey. It's time. Map number 2, it's Kafe. And this is a tough one if you're on the losing side of the score line currently, right? Now, here's the big question. It is going to be bans. Obviously, we didn't see Sentier on a lot of that shield play. Now, here's the question. Was it reserved for Kafe, or were we turning a new leaf? Was Sentier just like, you know what, I can get it done without a shield?
The shield is where they're going to go. Turtle Tactics banning out the Monty. I think this is a good call. You said it. Center is so good on the Monty. This time, banning the correct one if he was saying it. That does leave Blitz and Blackbeard available because FlowState banning out the Ying. Turtle Tactics used Yings a couple times there on Clubhouse, not wanting to deal with that chaos coming in to Kafe. So they've asked for a quick pause after the bans. Likely going to have that, but Castle going to join in the band operators. Some people call Kafe the Windows Simulator map. Everybody hanging off the windows, taking shots in. Castle makes that a little bit more difficult. So FlowState's going to try and make that easier as they start off on attack.
Yeah. We'll see the castle taken off board. That's kind of an interesting one. We've been seeing some different bans, but I'm not surprised that we live in a world where a castle ban is a great ban, right? Especially when you get to Kafe. It is those windows for the Windows Simulator that you help facilitate a hold on. It's that extension when you're down into bakery, and then it's that third floor play on the second floor site that just makes Castle so incredibly good. So if all of your strats are built around it, you're a little put off by the ban that just went through.
We talked about it. Center not going to have the Monty available, but this FlowState team initially showing a pair of shields to bring out here. Turtle Tactics going to start off on what I think has become the competitive standard, the second floor sites here on 3-floor maps, that middle floor being really the main one. They set up the top floor very similar to the way you would for a top floor hold, make it a little bit more difficult here for this attacking team to make the push in. They've got the intel deny, the area denial with the smoke, and also that projectile deny, trying to avoid all of this defensive utility players with this Turtle Tactics defense.
Man, they were showing 2 shields right at first, but Sentier Engine Bait's going to opt off of it and do a little bit of picking to where instead we're going to see the Striker and the Ace being brought about now. Nick, just so
no way
without a kill in that first map, is going to find the very first of the game, and that's going to be Jabates off the board.
What a huge pick to start this thing off. There was a lot of discussion, not so much calling out in the all chat. Both of these teams very competitive and understand the rules that Blast got in place regarding competitive and just sportsmanship, so not a lot of that coming out. But there was a little bit of discussion about Nyx's kill count during that previous map, which was definitely a bit of a struggle. From a FlowState perspective, still have got 4 left alive, and it is the Striker that goes down. And look at this, making the Zim and Zach already upstairs, holding on to this 3rd floor.
That's right, taking up a ton of space. And it started from the first floor, right? As Zach was able to push up and just take some of that space on the first floor where Nyx got that opening kill. And then, oh my lord, look at that. Grenade's going to force some movement, sends him up. Zach's going to find Zombie off the board to rotate down to Freezer. Now, they still got some of that 3rd floor presence in place here, as Spider is still up there, and Trevmac, but a little bit of the damage done there as they find themselves equalized on the number count.
Really, you take a look at that previous map too on Clubhouse. There was a lot of individual heroics that really dominated that map. Center ending with 12-4-1, and on the Turtle Tactics side, Zonky 11-8-2. On the reverse, though, Nyx has already matched his kill count on Kafe that he had on Clubhouse 1. So he's going to try and pad that a little bit more on this map. Still left alive in a 3v4. This final minute ticking down. FlowState's got a little bit of the man advantage, and right now the map control upstairs on the 3rd floor. All of these defenders downstairs waiting for what could come down the stairs, down the hatches.
I know it didn't mean to be tough, but you know what? That was a tough statement. Matching his kill count of the entirety of the last map. That's tough. Smokes are going out. Nook's gonna make the drop down that from the third floor, start to put some pressure towards that mining area, looking for a rotate. Everybody moved back downstairs, and even, of course, Trev onto the first floor on the white stairs, playing spoiler potentially with that shotgun in hand. Santier's going to take a little bit of damage as they do get the down onto Nyx. That's going to put us into a 3v2 situation, except for they're going to be able to pick him back up. So equalized on the number count, and now they start to get in to make the plant. Santier's going to find his life.
What a vertical hold.
Double. Zach's going to take Dami off the board, and now it's going to be into a 1v2 scenario, but 2 seconds left, just not going to have enough time. It's a pistol pop onto Nyx, but time will run out. They will find their first round not in their favor.
I mean, well played there from Turtle Tactics. We talked about it. Minute left in the round. The 3 players left alive had rotated down, holding power positions on the second floor. FlowState manages to find one, get the down, and then as they're focused on getting the plant down in the corner, Turtle Tactics rotates one back upstairs, holding on to the vertical, and manages to kill the planter. And even though you see a trade at the end, one defender left alive on the third floor. Well played there by Turtle Tactics, making the late round rotate, allowing FlowState to think they had a bit of an advantage, shutting them down when it came down to it. So that opening round on the first map, dominated by FlowState, really the opening segment of it, 3 of the first 4 rounds going to FlowState. This is a great place for Turtle Tactics to start. We've said they have to win. This is a must-win scenario for them if they want to even see Map 3 and move on to the Swiss stage.
Okay, so that second floor start, right? We've seen that off a variety of different maps, that middle floor meta, and it worked out here, right? A little bit of a wrench into the gears as defense is able to find one, and now instead of heading up to that window simulator, they're going to take it down to that bakery, which is arguably the better of the sites here. And they're going to really lean into some of that static warfare. Dami's going to be bringing out the Azami. They're doubling up on the intel with the Pulse and the Mozzie. And look at this, set up all the way onto the third floor. Azami going to really make sure that you have to push. Oh no, it was the other second floor side, not down here. Making sure that you have to push that top floor to get them out of there.
I am surprised, right, that they picked mining. I think definitely, statistically, that first floor site better for the defense than the mining side of the map. Just because there's a couple more avenues for the attackers to make the push in. You can see right now they're working the vertical again, making the drop down one of the hatches, opening up the sight lines into Ticket, and Zach gonna find one, but traded out by Spider. Holding on again, a ton of presence here on the third floor from this defense above the site.
That's right, and who did they get off the board? That's going to be Mozzie, relegated to his own drone cams as we find ourselves equalized on the number count. Getting a few more drones in. Make sure that they can suss out where these defenders are specifically. It's going to be putting the pressure on Dami here and holding on to that verticality. Now, you do have Pulse below, so this is a bit of a Kafe sandwich whiskey.
Yeah, it's a great call there, holding the Pulse from down below. One of the things about this site that makes it a little bit more difficult for the defense to hold is it's got a lot of breachable floor both above and below. Pulse is trying to capitalize on that a little bit, but also puts him in a dangerous position. So, see, they've got third floor control. Jabate's upstairs running the Deimos, taking shots down through the floor. Center is going to back this up with a little bit more added vertical space. Still got 4 left alive on both sides with this final minute ticking down, so things are about to get crazy. It's a good hold. We still have got a second floor presence from the defense, plus a little bit of that first floor. Cade backing up Nyx on that Pulse, holding downstairs on the first and coat check.
That's right. So that's kind of where we find ourselves. 2 below and 2 on site to be able to take this engagement. So the pressure from Pillar gonna start to mount as they make their way into reading, holding themselves ready for a cross. Probably getting a ton of intel being fed right now by that.
Oh,
Pulse.
yo.
you know, and then Zonky takes one off the board, so man advantage is going to go into the hands of the defense, and look at this, still going for it, does still have a C4 in hand as well to be able to knock these guys out. There's going to be one of them as Zonky goes down. Jabate's going to take Zonky off the board. Dami to find Jabate's now into a 1v2 with 4 seconds left. Defense feeling pretty good, and they still got a C4 down below, so Plant not even going to be able to be had. Huge play right now. Turtle Tactics up 2 in a row as their middle floor meta has put them on top.
That's right. We said initially that statistically that first floor a little bit better site, but Turtle Tactics showing up, and you said it, the middle floor meta working out in their favor. Problem is you got to pick one of the others at this point, so they're going to try the first rather than the third. And I think you said it was a Kafe sandwich there on that previous round. Well played both from the vertical and up from below. The combination of putting some pressure on with the pulse and then backing up with the Cade. FlowState tried to identify where those defenders were playing, engage them, but it was mostly 1v1s, and Turtle Tactics won those engagements and putting them up 2-0 in this scoreline. If you're just joining us, it's a best of 3 between these two teams. FlowState currently up 1-0 with a 7-3 victory on Turtle Tactics' map pick of Clubhouse. This is the FlowState map pick, trying to close out this series, but right now, on defense at least, Turtle Tactics starting out on top.
That's a bad place to find yourself. And now not wholly unexpected either. This is Kafe. This is an incredibly defensive-sided map. And now we head into what is arguably the better site of the 3. Bringing out a little bit of that intel. Echoes on the board to stop what is inevitably going to be some shield play, trying to push in towards Bakery. This time it's going to be on the Blackbeard, which is devastating because it's not just a shield, and it's not just Blackbeard, but it's an AR on the back side of that as well, so it can be just absolutely devastating. First Echo is off the board, or first Yokai is off the board, so they're able to suss that one out. Means they've got one left. Try to force this shield aside and take this engagement.
Yeah, great read there by the attacking team, identifying the Echo, identifying some of these gadgets, bringing out the IQ as the alternative to make sure that they have this all of this defensive utility able to be cleared out. This time, nades coming in, forcing the player out of Bakery, but he walks up, takes some shots on the shield. No way he survives that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Zach is going to find the kill on Dami. Then Nyx goes down as well. And so now find ourselves into a 4v3. The body balance is sitting into the hands of FlowState if they've taken up some of that really important space inside of Bakery. Now, that vertical play is still to be had as Mute sits up there. Zonky looking to use that shotgun to shut down that slow push in. We'll see if it's going to have that desired effect. They start to make this last minute and 36 count.
Man, with a minute 30 left, you're in a 5v3 scenario with a Blackbeard. Center is ready. He was the hero of the previous map, the MVP, not able to match it currently as we're sitting on round 2. They're working the vertical here, but I think that's putting Zonky in a little bit of a dangerous position. Trevmac, though, coming up huge, blocking one of these attackers as they try and make the push in, looking to get that plant down, but they've got to deal with Zonky upstairs. He's holding this, there it is, holding the prep area, but Center's made it in, and that is the plant going down.
Oh, and that takes Spider off the board as they get the Nomad down as well, so it's a low health for both Sentier and the IQ. Nomad is going to get confirmed, so now we're into a 3v2 post-plant scenario, starting to make the rotate back up. Here is Debates. Upstairs to try to put some pressure on. Trev's going to find one. This puts us into a 2-2 as they start to run down red, but the power is there. The power of friendship is here, and he's going to find Ace off the boards. Trev Max on the triple kill, so now 10 seconds left in which to get a plant down, and it is a low health scenario for the Blackbeard, but no C4s, no impacts, no nothing.
Oh,
instead,
wow!
Trev just going to make the swing. Swing or be swung, and Trev Max chooses the later option and just absolutely fries Blackbeard. Which means attackers are going to find him. Wait, what?
He was too late, my friend.
Time?
There was not enough time. It was a fraction of a second.
I only read what was on the screen and confused myself. I was like,
absolutely priceless. He did. He won that battle, gets a 4-piece quad kill, but the problem was just a fraction of a second too late. Those timers counting down simultaneously, and unfortunately for the defense,
Attackers
missed
need to
it
locate and
by
defuse as
just
many bombs as
less
they can.
than a second.
Wow, what a play. So back to the second floor, back to that middle floor meta, as we see the first round rotate over and done. 2-1 into the hands of Turtle Tactics. Now,
Attackers have discovered the location
here's the
of a
question.
bomb.
If this second half of the first half of this second map goes down in a similar fashion, 4-2 will be the split, and nobody will be surprised by that. Right? You hit your quota on the 2 for attack side, and you're going to feel pretty good going into your
10 seconds
defensive side,
remaining.
especially because FlowState had an incredibly huge defensive
5
side
seconds to insertion.
already on their first map, right? A very aggressive, really
Attackers are heading out
extended,
to
lots
defuse
of
a bomb.
investment into the roam game, and it made it incredibly difficult. We're already seeing some adaptations by Turtle Tactics here, right? One of the things that we love to see is the cap can come out either late or early in the round because you're not quite looking for it. This time, they're going to opt for bringing it out right in the middle. We'll see if it plays off here.
Saw a couple of clutch 6-man cap cans come out in that game with Steinsgate yesterday. Can Knicks replicate that same success, or is this FlowState stack going to come up big here on round 4? They're working it. Now, we've seen this all the second floor sites, seen how Turtle Tactics handling the defense. FlowState's got to make the adaptations. They had good control upstairs on the third floor, but right now, it was that late round rotate that Turtle Tactics employed that shut them down originally. Still have got Dami playing upstairs on the third along with Spider and Zonky, so they do have a strong third floor presence. FlowState is going to have to clear this out. Projectile deny preventing some of those Grims from making the push in, but Zach is ready to make the jump in the window.
That's right, and get a couple of shots here off the Aussie Repel, and they're going to push into Ticket. Jabates is going to find Dami off the board, and that's the first, as Mozzie's going to be relegated to his cams. A bit of a run out there isn't going to amount to anything. Jabates on a low health scenario, but the damage done. Man advantage is into the hands of FlowState here on this second floor site. If they're able to suss this out a little bit better than they did the first time, then we might be seeing a bit of a runaway. Turtle Tactics needs to find another way to keep slowing them down. Where's the equalization at? Where is that? Where is that answer back? Where is the refrag to equalize these numbers?
And huge loss there from the defensive perspective, as Zim has managed to grab all of their cams, so they have all this extra intel. The C4s, the explosions happening all over, but Zim survives as well the rest of this attacking team. It's a 5v3. There's 55 seconds left, and right now a ton of vertical pressure coming here from FlowState. They want to shut down the Turtle Tactics defense, keep them all focused on the second floor, keep shooting fish in a barrel, which is exactly what Birch does. Takes down Spider. 5v2 with 40 seconds left. This looking like another FlowState victory.
Yep, Zach's going to get ripped off the board. Zonky's able to find him with a well-placed headshot. A prone position is going to find another forfeit as Nix is able to take Jabates off the board. And just like that, gets a little bit closer here. And these Capcan traps might start to be the difference maker, except for it's not. Nix goes down with a headshot, and that is going to be one more closer to tying us up. Or not one more closer. We are going to get tied up.
Oh man, well the fun we had last night is rolling over into Sunday afternoon here on the Siege Double Shot. And if you're just joining us, welcome everyone. We've got a best of 3 banger between these two teams. Only one can qualify and go to face M80 in the Swiss stage for the Challengers Series playoffs. And welcome. We're glad everyone is here joining us to see which of these two teams is going to be. FlowState currently up 1 map to 0. The 7-3 victory on Clubhouse. This is FlowState's map pick. So, Turtle Tactics up against a little bit of a wall here. All of the pressure on this team. They absolutely must win scenario here on Kafe to keep this thing going. Border being the decider.
That's right, and just a special what up and welcome Franklin and Vic Bands. Welcome to the stream. Just doing a little CO quals, no big deal. Trying to figure out who is going to play the coveted M80X team coming up next weekend. Gonna be huge. Okay, so 2-2 as we get tied up, Whiskey. They're gonna switch it up just a little bit, get some pulse on the board. Nick's going for another of that intel. Operator potentially going to be a couple of easy floor extensions. We'll see if that C4 plays out this time. Didn't quite do the trick last time.
I mean, you can't win every win. You can't get lucky every single round unless you're queen. But in this case, I like bringing out the Kapkan. Keep that pressure up. Force this FlowState team to check every door and window as you walk through. You're going to catch one eventually. I like this alternative here from Zach, bringing out the Flores, trying to clear out this defensive utility, making it a little bit easier to walk in. Center bringing out the Hibana, same as he did, dominating on Clubhouse. Not with the kill count at this point, still struggling to find one after a dominating performance on map 1.
Yeah, it goes from MVP to a 0 and 3. Tough spot to find yourself inside of 5. But I imagine he'll probably get activated, and if he doesn't, then he's gonna get on a shield. Easy call. 5-5 as we sit. We did see on the defensive side, so you know, we've been seeing it a lot more, Whiskey. It's the sentries on board. Brings a lot of that gadgetry, right? You can bring along the your bait's gonna find Trevmac off the board. Now, that is the body balance into the hands of FlowState, but Trevmac still has some of those gadgets up and ready to be utilized should they start to make that push in. We'll see if he's still going to be an impact player even after his death.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was doing walking through that ticket area, knowing that you had one of the attackers playing up on top of the hatch, and we basically walked right into his sight line. In this case, you can see they've identified where those Kapkan traps are at. IQ coming in clutch at this point, but Pulse ready and waiting. You said it's the Kafe sandwich in play here. Both a little bit of vertical, a bit of playing from down below. You can see making this rotate fully down to the first floor. Looking for maybe a little bit of a flank. Catch one. Zach and a fine spider, though. That is huge to gain some map control over here on the mining side.
That good for a double as they make the drop down, so puts us quickly into a 5v2. FlowState looking to get it done flawlessly, but Zonky going to be the spoiler to that one. Zach killing now onto a 3-piece. This C4 could be huge, but your face on the prone hatch drop says, "Get out of my house." Good night, sleep tight. Nix pays the price.
Wow, the hatch drop to win it there, and FlowState on attack picks up at least 3 at this point. Turtle Tactics now for sure on the back foot. I thought we would walk into, we know this is FlowState's map pick, but I thought we would walk into a Turtle Tactics at least a 4-2 half to start off with here on Kafe, defensive side of map. But FlowState right now very much in control, feeling it again. A ton of pressure on this Turtle Tactics team. It's time, their last opportunity to Qual here for Challenger Series. Only one of these two teams will move on to the Swiss stage to take on the other 8 teams that have already qualified and the rest of the quarterfinal winners today.
Yeesh. 117 followers to go till we hit that coveted 5,000 follower mark. It was just a huge surprise to a couple of guys like us who just love the gaming siege, who just love talking about it. Thank you guys so much. When we do hit that 117, we are going to pick the name for the signed Siege headset giveaway. So we are so close. Just want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. Whiskey, last round of the half could be potentially dangerous. Turtle Tactics really needs this. This is a very important round if you're a Turtle fan.
Absolutely. From a must-win scenario, this is the round here for Turtle Tactics. They've got to shut down. It shows something. We haven't seen some signs of life in this team since back on round 2. That's the last time they won a round. FlowState has won the last 3 in a row. So momentum absolutely on their side right now. Bringing out some of these gadgets, but in general, FlowState has just done a very good job of managing all this utility, identifying with the IQ, and then stealing, using, or destroying everything in play before it really affects this team overly much. The fact that we saw Goyo canister kills and a Rooney Gate kills really to me says that we're living in a utility meta here still for Siege. There is a little bit of TDM that's happening, but for the most part, when you're seeing kills come out from utility like that, this is teams that are playing it really well.
Yeah, and the TDM is only in the hands of a unequal team. Right, the far better team, and I'm talking you got to be way better than the other team that you're facing, is when we see that TDM start to kick in, because it's that confidence. They can just run in and take gunfights. They're trying to 7-0 it. You saw it a lot with the M80X stacks, in those 7-0s that went on during the quals. That's the time when you see those TDM metas. When M80X was playing against some of those, oh, look at this, they're just going to push in and take this top floor right in the middle of what I was trying to say here. And then they gain a ton of vertical presence right out the gate. In fact, has forced everybody off of it except for Spider, the lone person alive on the 3rd floor inside a cocktail with the DMR in hands. So he's going to start taking a couple of shots. Oh, no, he does have Zonky up there with him as well. Blackbeard just going to get his shield pushed away, and they're going to
what a shot!
Zonky's going to take that kill, and now they're going to rotate down. Because what? The double
window
Spider and Zonky gone. The window simulator in full effect, and they pay the price getting caught in the rotate. Tough place to find yourself. You get the opener, and then you lose 2 dramatically up on that 3rd floor. Tough place to find yourself. Body bounce now into the hands of FlowState as they look to take a standard half on the attack side of it.
My God, just chaos happening all over the map right now. Explosions, floors, just destruction, C4s happening. You got 20 seconds left. 2v4, 1v4 scenario. Center picks up 1. Trev, he's still got 7 and 3. He can pull this off, but it's going to be difficult. Finds 1. Trades on the last with Zim.
Man, so close. Great opening kill, and then both of them foiled by the rappel, the Aussie rappel sitting on the white staircase. Just tough. That's just tough, right? And especially if you're running back with the power of friendship, the reason that you run 2 together is so you can watch both of those directions and you can get yourself a trade or a refrag if you get caught slipping. But both of them die. The round is over, and FlowState finds themselves up by 2 going into their defensive half on a defensive map. Turtle Tactics, the time is now to step it up.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Wow, and like I said, this is all the momentum right now, all in the FlowState favor. That's 4 rounds in a row for this team. Definitely a lopsided scoreline coming into the Turtle Tactics attacking half. This is FlowState's map pick. Again, if you're just joining, 7-3 victory for FlowState on Clubhouse in the previous map in this best of 3. FlowState's getting very close to qualifying for Challenger Series. Turtle Tactics fan, Mint fan, it's time to step up here. Take a look at that scoreboard right now. Spider and Dami struggling a little bit to get anything going. They need all of these players to step up right now, or some incredible individual heroics to shut this team down. A lot of utility opening up here, plus the area denial on center. Turtle Tactics going to have to clear this out.
Bit of a switch up here as far as defensive strategies goes. No surprise that we don't see the 3rd floor as that primary anymore. Head down to the bakery, and they're going to lean into that air denial, right? FlowState's bringing out the Goyle, bringing out the smoke, and making sure with the Azami and that static warfare and the frost and those devastating traps for jumping in, that this is a static warfare defense, right? They are going to be locked in. Everybody up on the 1st floor currently. Or up, I guess down on the 1st floor currently.
All right, my friend, 2 minutes, 10 seconds left. What does this team need to do? What does Turtle Tactics need to do from the attacking perspective to gain any sort of ground? Definitely clearing out the utility, work the vertical at this point. I love bringing out the Ram in this case. 2 more of those boogie drones still left available to try and make some holes, try and clear out some space. They're holding the vertical positions, but it feels like they need to put a little bit more direct pressure on FlowState, force them out of some of those positions. maybe take a 1v1. You can see, for me, those orange outlines very spread out. They're putting ghost pressure all around the map, but that's just it. It's ghost at this point. They're not putting enough real direct pressure on FlowState to make it feel meaningful at this point.
Yeah, well, they went all the way up to the 3rd floor to claim that real estate. Now that they've realized the 2nd floor is free as well, they're going to start to make their way in and grab some of that coveted real estate space for the verticality up onto the table to start opening it up. Make sure that you're not going to be caught off guard by a potential C4, although we have seen that still play out devastatingly, right? Up through the floor onto the table, and then it's a good night, sleep tight. Frost about to receive some action as they start to make that push in towards that 1st floor. Vertical being difficult, but nobody getting in line, finding themselves in a fish in a barrel situation.
Gotta say, I love this. We've been talking about how cool the Turtle Tactics concept is in general. I love the fact that they're showing what does it take to play this team, what does it take, how they manage scrims. 35 seconds left though. If we want to see more of this team, more of the tactics come out, we need to see them win right here. That is the diffuser going down. We've got all 10 left alive with 20 seconds left.
Right, and they start to make the push in, and that's going to be
yo
boom, 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 and boom. Post-plant scenario now just finds Jabate alone in a 1v5. You got to be perfect on pace for the ace to be able to pull this one back into contention, and that just seems impossible at this point. Takes a couple of shots towards the white staircase, but it's going to get swung from the other side, and it's going to be a flawless round for Turtle Tactics. We said, hey, you need to step up now. You got to get the job done. They just walked in, planted, and that was it.
Oh yeah, that's what they needed. Flawless victory there, finally, for them to show up and put them up a little bit closer, close to tying this up. And we look back, man, we're going to look back at that round 3 victory downstairs on the 1st floor for FlowState with just a fraction of a second as what kicked off that huge piece of momentum after they won 4 in a row. Turtle Tactics ready to turn it around, though, winning their first on attack on this 1st floor site. So right now, 1st floor, a little bit attacker-sided. Both times we've seen it. Seen the attackers pick up a win here. But I gotta say, too, I love the way that Mint is showing this as well, showing all 5 of his player POVs at the same time on stream. Very cool scenario. So if you're watching Mint stream, if you're watching the game here, we appreciate you being here, trying to find out who are the teams that are going to be facing M80X and the rest of the qualified teams in the Swiss stage for Challenger Series.
That. Lost my headphones there. Back in action. So, you said it. The 1st floor and that 3rd floor kind of, I wouldn't call the 1st floor necessarily solved, but we definitely saw some attacker wins on it. So, take it up to the 2nd floor, play into that mid-floor meta, and with that extension upstairs, right? That's the reason that we're seeing the mirror on the board, is to try to hold from that default mirror all the way across from cocktail to ticket, making sure that you can't claim that vertical space when trying to move in for this 2nd floor take here. And you can see it. There's 3 people upstairs: Jabates, Zach, and the Mira, all playing up on that 3rd floor to try to play spoiler to anybody getting in to try to take it.
We talked about what does this team need to do from the attacking perspective. Using this utility, opening up those mirror windows. You heard it. Look at this. Identifying. You've got one player just sitting on their cams, holding on and reading. But I love this combination of utility, bringing out the shields, causing some chaos upstairs. The problem is that I need to translate that into a round win. Trebmack sitting at 10-4, playing the Blackbeard, having an incredible game right now.
Okay, so fire starting to ring out, a little bit of pressure going on to the Twitch as they start to make that push in. Azami's going to find the first kill as Nyx goes down. Jabate's going to be on it. Dami's going to take Zach off the board in the trade, so it does put us into a 4-4. Azami still locked into that top side. Instead, going to move move down and rotate into down from Cocktail. Spider's going to find Sagittarius off the board. Man advantage now into the hands of Turtle Tactics yet again. The attack starting to feel a little strong here as they've claimed the body balance, and they're pushing in, and they're just going to get set up, and they're going to go for the plant. Cross is good to go. Jabates goes down as the pressure from Pillar or Dart going to prove to be just a little bit too much. Zonky going to find
what a nade.
A grenade kill, but it gets answered back in a 2-2 as Legion is able to find one. Oh my gosh, into a 2-1. Now Trevmac the last alive in this 2v1 scenario, and really just so much time on the board. A C4 potentially to send it long, except for they're going to find it.
Whoa!
No, it was the C4. The double swing, but no distance needed as the Claymore is hell on the wall. Sheesh. As they're able to find it and put themselves one away from that coveted match point scenario.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
Wow. I thought that was Turtle Tactics round, holding on, playing the Blackbeard. Trevmac had that one in hand. They get the plant down, and then unfortunately falls apart there at the end. Perfectly played, in my opinion, on the FlowState side in a 2v1 scenario. You have one that swings, directs the attention away for the C4 to go out and take down the shield. The best opportunity they had, and you said it, FlowState is one round away from match point. Turtle Tactics has got to step up right now on attack, show something special, because we were hoping maybe they'd get a little bit of momentum if you're a Turtle Tactics fan, but FlowState put a stop to it after only one round win there on attack.
Bomb located by attackers.
Whiskey. One away from that coveted match point scenario, but Turtle Tactics only down by 2. So, problem is you got to get it done on attack. Now, they were successful last time that we saw the bakery side of it. What's going to be this adaptation by Turtle Tactics, by FlowState, to make sure that they hold on to it? I think the only real big difference that we're seeing is Warden going to be on.
10 seconds remaining.
Warden's a good call. We talked about it on Clubhouse that Turtle Tactics had been using a lot of that utility, the flashbangs. They were using Ying. I think part of the reason we talked about FlowState banned her out at the very onset of this map. But the combination of smokes, the flashes, going to make this a little bit more difficult. Now, Spider, the interesting one, bring out the Raura. We have not seen her very often in these quals on really from any team. One of the first I think we've seen her in all of Qual 3 as well. And even when she is brought out, not a ton of usage for her gadget. So we'll see whether or not it makes an appearance or a difference here today.
Yeah, I think you talk about this all the time when the new ops come in. It's just they're still trying to figure out how can they best use that for their advantage. Well, that's not a bad place to do it. This is holding on to Harry Potter, waiting for that jump in to happen, probably a proximity alarm or something close, a barbed wire to be able to signify that they have jumped in that window, and then it's the impact, and they're able to go find the kill. So sussed out, Ace is going to open up that main wall as they start to take some shots towards
oh wow!
Spider takes him off the board, absolutely deleted. Warden goes down. Zach Kelly going to find his life forfeit, and they're going to close that wall right back up, but it gets answered back as another grenade kill. Whiskey. Jeez.
Wow, the grenade kill's coming out hot and heavy at this point, and we're seeing a piece of her utility come out, prevent the rotate over from the ticket or the red stairs side, protecting the bakery here. And you can see Center stuck with that problem. She's having to make the rotate through the wall as opposed to trying to walk through where she's got her gadget in place. And boy, that worked flawlessly, although interesting to have a flawless round in this case, but look at that little visual bug there. Perfectly played. I used it exactly where you needed to, prevented Center from making the rotate around, putting pressure on the bakery side. Well played by Turtle Tactics, and they pick up that attacking win they needed.
Yeah, absolutely, and now it's one away from tying it up. This map is so important, and Turtle Tactics starting to come together to play like it means something. Don't throw bodies needlessly. Take fights that you have the most advantage in. Now they're one away from tying it up. FlowState. Got to do something on their end if they want to put this bad boy away.
Just a quick update on some of the other matches. There are 2 teams that have finished their quarterfinal qualification matches and have made it to the Swiss stage for Challenger Series. Congratulations to Space Shoes for being one of the first there. They have made it, qualified, and then the other, Run It Back R6. Some of the former teammates from these Turtle Tactic players, Dami and Zonky, part of that roster. Run It Back R6 has also qualified, taking down a TBI. Congratulations to them. So the last 2 matches still being played out. Burger & Co. and Forsaken, and ours here, FlowState versus Turtle Tactics. Only one between these 2 can qualify.
Yep, somebody's got to lose. Okay, so switching up some operators, going to lean into the slow down city. Fenrir, Legion, Malusi, and of course Azami. These are all operators dedicated and designed to slow you down. That's exactly what FlowState needs here. They got to put a disruption into the pace that Turtle Tactics is bringing, which, unironically, is not slow. Like, they're moving with great speed. They're checking off the boxes very quickly. They're getting in, they're finding that space, and then they're planting and just making sure that they're going to be able to hold on to it. We'll see if that's going to be the play this time. We got Blackbeard back on the board.
Taking their time from an attacking perspective, too. This feels a little bit slower. Again, taking advantage of the tactical, strategic nature of Siege, holding onto the windows, but with a minute down, still outside the building, nobody inside Kafe yet. Working to make sure that they've got all of the angles on this FlowState team, and Jabates is going to be the first to take Nyx down, and that's unfortunate, losing the Capital. At least it's answered back. No Azami going to be able to protect upstairs.
Dami finds one. Dami good for a double, I believe. Dami good for a double, which is going to put us into a 4v3 situation. That DMR being absolutely devastating. They send in some grenades, and then they're able to take the kills. They push them out of that critical push point. So now starting to open up some of that vertical. Try to put the pressure onto this Legion player who is unafraid and just pushes directly up onto these holes to try to make sure that he can stop some of this vertical.
All right, 58 seconds left, working the vertical here. What a shot from Zim, up through the floor, taking down Zonky, evening this up almost in a 3v2 scenario here with 45 seconds left. This defense needs to hang on. We're either going to see a match point or a tied-up game here on Kafe. 40 seconds left, my friend.
That's right, Blackbeard at the window, so might take a bit of the scenic route as he's going to try to get some window play, a little window simulator onto the second floor as well. So defense now, got to hold out for 7 more seconds. They're starting to get some drones in. They want to find out. They see that one is on dark, and that's going to be the jump out, and he's going to... What?
Attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped. 15 seconds.
Man, Spider life forfeit, now into a 2v1. What looks so promising for the Turtle Tactic ends in disaster. 6 seconds off, Malusi gadgets, Fenrir's. 3 seconds as a goo goes. He's gonna get a kill, but it's gonna be absolutely late. What a tough place to find yourself off the back of almost a guaranteed round win. Sees it a loss, sees a match point scenario.
That's right, my friend, and it's not just match point. We are here. It is match point, series point, and Challenger Series Swiss stage qualification point. FlowState is literally 1 round away from making it to CL. Turtle Tactics going to take that second time out of the series, this time in a absolutely critical, dire state here. FlowState has had an answer back for every one of the Turtle Tactics win on the second half of this map, evening this thing up. So Turtle Tactics has done their job picking up 2 on the attacking side, but the problem is they can't afford another defensive win. Got to pick up at least 2 more to force OT for these 2. Map 3 border is waiting if Turtle Tactics can find a way to win, but right now FlowState just dominating Kafe, and then on the defensive half, and then having an answer to every single Turtle Tactics attack.
Man, okay. Another second floor. Another one of those mid-floor metas. It's going to see fireplace and reading. On the side of the defense, no real big changes. We are going to see a Rooney on the board, so a little bit of that DMR action. But outside of that, it's relatively similar. Still leaning into the intel and intel tonight. Still leaning into some of that slowdown game with the Legion and the Azami. Tactic needs to change for the Turtle fans. That's all there is to it. First, got to hit the win condition. What is that? Get the Aruni off the board. 11-7, having a great game. It's a DMR that can be absolutely devastating. Tactic number 2 is you've got to capitalize on your space claim, right? When you claim that real estate, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep taking those inches. You got to make it worth it for the space that you've recovered. Get in the building just a little bit quicker.
5 seconds remaining.
I think that's going to be the deal. If you're a Turtle Tactics fan, you don't want them to live up to their namesake.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
The problem is that's the style that they've been playing, and I mean it's worked to get them to this point. They've made it all the way to the qualification game. They've won every single their best of one single elimination bracket games to get here, but well, it has fallen apart when they got into the best of 3 scenario. Said it. Move a little bit faster. Definitely need to make something happen. Getting the claymores down, protecting against FlowState, being a little bit over aggressive on defense. I could certainly see that happen. We've seen these players. We've seen Jabates. We've seen Center. We've seen Zim get crazy on defense when they've got the option. When you're ahead, they've got at least one round to throw. The problem is, Turtle Tactics is a very good team. See whether or not they try and hold it back, settle down, play the strategic version of Siege. That first minute gone, and already, not a lot of action happening.
Okay, Grenade's going to get in and try to force some movement here. None the wiser. They do get some drones in, so sussed out onto the ticket, and then what? Oh, okay.
What a trade!
It's a trade. Okay, so Jabates goes down, and that's a huge one, right? The Kiva barriers now can't be in place to hold on to that static warfare. Arguably, going to be the better kill here, is taking 9 and 9 Jabates off the board for that play. So a worth it trade for sure. Now into a 4-4 with a minute and 27 left. Next.
All right, my friend, minute 20. Plenty of time left between these two teams, but Turtle Tactics, we said all of the pressure is on this team. Trebmac finds another, pushes it to 13-6-1. They've got a minute left. Their Challenger Series hopes are on the line. They must win this round. Shut this FlowState team down, or FlowState goes on. Qualifies, my friend. Who is it going to be? 50 seconds left.
Okay, yeah, the time's starting to put the pressure onto the attack side. They've made their way inside of the building, at least claimed that 3rd floor space, still trying to hunt out where these last defenders are at, and this is going to be the big play, right? It's going to be Spider. He's outside, he's droning, he's looking for who can they isolate to decimate? Who can they claim that man advantage just a little bit more so that they're able to get in and execute started, which is almost going to be necessary here. Time now down at 21 seconds. They haven't quite figured out where the last 2 defenders are. Still taking a couple of pop shots here from the vertical avenue. Trevmac is able to find Zach off the board, but answered immediately as Spider goes down. Now into a 3-2. 6 seconds left. Shotgun in hand. Goes to make the switch from behind instead. He's going to see another shotgun, but Domi's going to take him off the board.
What?
Tactics stays alive for one more round.
No way. When the planter goes down, I thought that is it. FlowState had this thing on lockdown and won, and then Dami rolls around the corner and answers back with, honestly, somebody's going to have to clip that one and tell me how many seconds were left, because, my God, that was so freaking close. Turtle Tactics on the attack comes up with one and is 1 round away from tying this thing up and sending it to OT.
Man, they need it. In a best of 3, the second map will determine if we're going on to that OT or not. They have to win it. They have to be perfect, and they then have to win it in overtime as well. So the big push point here, this next round, incredibly important. Turtle Tactics going to lean into that same strat, bring out some shield play. Nick's going to put themselves onto the Kafe tower for some of that smoke and mirrors, a little bit of that fire action. It's kind of worked out. Going to hope for better than a trade on the next one, on this next engagement.
10 seconds
Man,
remaining.
what a wild round. Roller coaster of emotions there personally for me. I love, we talk about how much we love this game. I love getting to see all the different options here. No favorites between these two, but man, I thought for like the briefest of seconds on either side, both of these teams had won it. What a wild finish there, and this game's not even over. Still all the pressure though on Turtle Tactics. They've got to be perfect for one more. They needed to do it for two. They pulled off one in an incredible upset at the end. Got to do it here again, one more time. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left alive in their Challengers Series for 2025, unless they can find a round win here. Second floor site, FlowState, having a hell of a good game as well, but not quite as good as they did on Clubhouse. Turtle Tactics has come up when they needed to.
Yeah, Turtle Tactics is feeling a lot more comfortable on Kafe than they did on Clubhouse. That part is absolutely guaranteed. On the side of the defense, they are going to see the Tuberal making their way back out, and of course some of that projectile deny in the hands of Wamai. Stop those flashes, grenades. There's quite a few of them, except for not going to be able to use them if you're dead. This push-up white stairs is going to see Zonky to have Sentier off the board, but now into a 3-2. Down be able to find one with the DMR. Now into a 3-2 scenario. Debates low health. They've started to make the push in. A couple of shots, but they're waiting for the rotate around. Looking for it. That's a headshot. Dami goes down, and that's going to do it. FlowState's going to take it. They're moving on to the Swiss stage. Turtle Tactics going to have to take it back to the drawing board.
7-5 victory for FlowState. Zim, the MVP, coming up strong here. Good luck in the league, they say. Man, 7-5. What a game between these two. I thought for sure, my friend, we were going to see a map 3. So dang close, but big GG's to FlowState for winning that best of 3 into qualifying, putting them in the Swiss stage against M80X and the rest of that squad. Man.
Okay.
It's shocked.
It's just shocking. Yeah, we were so close to seeing some overtime. We were so close to having that third map in this best of 3, but alas, no, it is denied. Turtle Tactics takes that proverbial bus ride home. Okay, so what are the 4 teams that have now qualified so far today, Whiskey?
That's right. So from a qualification perspective today, what we've seen in play, all but one is decided. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up right now. Space Tubes, again, congratulations to Space Tubes for winning their match against Tox's rank stack. They are going to be facing, well, TBD. On the other side, Run It Back beat TBI for their spot. So now those are the 3 teams that have made it. Space Tubes, FlowState, and Run It Back. The last game that has yet to be decided is Burger & Co. and Forsaken. That first map went to double overtime, and the second one is still going on. If Forsaken wins that, they will go to map 3, and there's a chance it'd be here on the Siege double shot, but we're not sure yet. That one waiting, admin decision, it sounds like, potentially holding that one up. So, congratulations, though. Space Tubes, FlowState, Run It Back, all qualifying in to 11 now of the 12 teams have been decided. Just one more to go.
Jesus. Okay, so what you're saying is we need a little bit of a break to find out where that map 3 is going to be going on to then?
That's right, my friend. Quick little break.
Okay, you know the deal and you know the drill, folks. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, we may bring you one more. Heyo.
Let's go.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Well, we wanted to bring you a map number 3, but we're just getting no conversation from anybody on where it's at, how are we getting there, can we do it? So instead of just having you guys chill out and wait, we're going to raid one of our favorite console streamers as they make a bid for their newest title on some of that Any Given Sunday console play.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunate. I mean, if you're a Turtle Tactics fan, unfortunate here in the best of three. However, if you are a FlowState fan, congratulations. Big GGs to that team, obviously, for coming up huge here in the best of three and qualifying along with Space Shubes and Run It Back. The Burger & Co. Forsaken game is the last one left. And as Glitter said, we're not sure who it's going to be. So all of the teams identified except for the winner of that and the winner of the MXPL game going on the mainstream currently. So that top 16 is going to be rounded out very shortly, going to be done soon, and we will be back on April 5th next weekend to bring the M80X Swiss stage games right off the bat. That'll be the plan. Gonna do it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to find out what's the score, who wins, check out Siege Double Shot's Twitter, as we'll be monitoring this last game very closely. Try to give you that information as soon as it pops up. Who is going to be the last qualifier here into the Swiss stage? In fact, you want to check out Twitter for any of it. Becoming one of your go-to hubs for anything T4 through T1 on the R6 scene. So I'm at glitter_whiskey. He's at racing ENGR, and together we are the Siege Double Shot. And you can check it out there. Check us out on Twitter, on TikTok, YouTube. We got a lot of fun stuff going on, including a really incredible headset signed by the talent of the Boston 6 Invitational. So lots of really cool stuff. Come hang out in our Discord. Copper to champ and competitive, everything in between as far as Siege goes. And you can find that link in all of our commands there. We are your official coverage for Stomp and Watch, so make sure you join us next week as we look to see if M80 is going to put themselves further along on that path to pro, that gateway to greatness. But alas for us, and this evening, we must bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo.
Let's go.